Hello everybody, my name is Hjalte and this is the 4th episode of our Ultimate Sea Ice playthrough. If you're joining us for the first time, there's a link in the top right hand corner, and if you missed the last episode, there's a link for that as well. So last time Kay expanded our base, built batteries and a butcher table, while Randy was being uncommonly kind. He decided to send us 2 meteorites, although both a little too far away from our base, but more importantly 2 megaslavs, which represents about 40 meals and heavy fur clothing. So all in all, Kay has a pretty decent setup at the moment. Kay's starting out today's episode with a bit of recreation, and as you can see we have lost the initial hope buff now, so we'll have her put on the other parka to get rid of the ready apparel debuff when she gets back inside. Of course you did. You just couldn't wait, huh? Well, as breaks go, hiding in her room is probably one of the best we could have hoped for. It will keep her out of danger unless we get a short circuit or something, so she'll be fine and we'll return to her once she's gotten to her senses. Kay's break isn't over yet, but we have the first event of today's episode. Randy is sending us some cargo with our morning snap, by way of apology I presume. Insect jelly. If I remember correctly, we have only had 2 cargo drops, and they've both been jelly. Well anyway, it's 43 units of jelly and 2 pieces of slag, so that's not too bad. And a transport pod. I almost don't want to check that cause it will just show us what we're missing out on, and 10 to 1 it's gonna be a good pod. And what did I tell you? That's just a knife to the heart. Look at that gear. Kay would probably die trying to get it, but still, that's excellent gear, and in great condition too. Fast learner, that's in my opinion the best trait by far. The others are bad though, but with major passions in shooting animals, artistic, plus minus in intellect, social and cooking, 14 and 11 points in 2 of them. Based on these skills, I would imprison him if he wouldn't join us willingly, although he's part of the Empire, and that's where it comes in handy that we didn't do the grizzly bear sitting quest. What? Low wage worker? What kind of standards do they have on the glitter worlds? We got the Gordon Ramsay of the glitter worlds crashing down, but by some cruel irony, instead of being running some fancy $300 a plate restaurant, he's working in a factory or something. That's insane. Let's have a look at his health. Well, that's not surprising. He is, or soon was, 72, but I would still have grabbed him in a heartbeat in our current situation, although cataract on both eyes plus frail is pretty bad. In fact, frail and bad back are the worst health issues besides addictions that you have to kick, so if I wasn't filming this, I would probably have gone for it, because I like big risks with big rewards. But the reality is I wouldn't want to kill off our playthrough, so I would have left him to bleed out for the sake of Kay's survival. And I hope she appreciates it, because I've given more consideration to her health in these first 4 episodes than I usually do any point during their admittedly often short lifetimes. Kay's break is finally over and she's fast asleep. That also means she's cathartic, which gives her an additional 40-point mood boost, and we can't have some happy hippie running around on sea ice, enjoying life and all that, so she'll be eating some particularly juicy meat in the next couple of days. That also means that she won't be changing parka yet, since she's getting rid of that -11 debuff, but we'll have to wait and see. So Kay's up, she has had an early bird dinner and it's time to get that jelly before it deteriorates further. Alright, that went smoothly, minor hypothermia is to be expected, except she is hauling the slag inside and we don't want that. Forbid that. By the way, we're allowing gold and silver indoors for now, but it's not really relevant at this stage in the game on sea ice. So that puts us to 74 units of steel. And 66 units of jelly. That's about 260 silver, give or take a few, due to deterioration. not bad. Alright, we'll let Kay get warmed up and return to her in a bed. Kay's cozy, so let's take care of that slack. Partly because we would like to have the steel ready when we need it, but more importantly, we'll do everything that gives her a debuff when she's in a good mood. No reason not to use it to our advantage. I do think it's too cold to go for the second one, but let's test it to be sure, because it would save us having to wait for her hypothermia again. Well, it's 2 AM, so she's going to sleep and we'll get back to her bright and early. Kay starting off the day with a bit of cannibalism, as you do, and then she'll take care of that last steel slag. It's going to be a calm day today, so Kay's going to warm herself with her fiery passion for her research, and we'll get back to her later on. It's late in the afternoon and Kay has decided to venture outside her door for a bit of rec. I don't know that I would do that at almost 120 below zero. I might just have sat down at a table and taken a little breather, but Kay's fearless and therefore often very cold. And we have a little short circuit here, but as Randy's timing goes, that's not too bad. So Kay's going to have to break away from her riveting research and stomp out those flames. Repair the damage please, Kay. And since there's still a little wind going, I think we're going to be absolutely fine. Now let's just have her clean up that rubble. Make sure our base is nice and tidy. There isn't quite enough power for both heaters though, but now that we're at minus 119 degrees and it's only early September, I think it's about time to put up another one. But we'll come back to her once her hypothermia is gone. Kay has decided to get started on the heater, although her hypothermia isn't gone yet. That's fine, we'll just let her collect everything and forbid it till she's fit to build it. Did I remember to forbid the heater? I did, alright. Kay's back to researching, but it's almost time to eat. We could send her to bed instead, but we have plenty of food now and we don't really mind that she's having another cannibalistic feast. Currently, we're actually more concerned with the lack of available space in our indoor storage, so clearing out the human meat is fine. It's time to get that heat up. The temperature outside has also dropped to minus 127 degrees, so it's getting a bit nippy. Kay's off to bed in a moment though, so we'll let her finish up today's research and rejoin her in the morning. As you can see, Kay's doing very well this morning, but her catharsis is running out in 22 hours. And the cannibalism debuff is running out in 12, although we're already down to 21 hours. So, if we have her eat another succulent meat now, she'll essentially have a minus 55 debuff compared to now, which puts her at 16, in other words, major break territory. And that's assuming that she'll be working with something she's passionate about. But on the other hand, she's also hungry now, so she'll get a good old simple meal of hare and mega sloth. We also have exactly 10 units of meat lying around here for some reason, so let's take care of that now that she's already out here. Kay's going to relax for a bit before she gets back to work, so we'll come back to her. Kay has finished her research and we now have hydroponics. So next up is microelectronics, so we can get a bit of trading going. That's going to take a while though, so we probably won't be done with it till spring. But getting batteries, hydroponics and microelectronics within the first year is where we want to be. Then we'll get started on turrets probably, since Kay could use a bit of help in that regard. For now though, I'll put 2 of our heaters to 25, leaving the third at 16 degrees for the moment. And Kay's going to get back to it and go to bed in a few hours, so we'll see her in the morning. While Kay's sleeping though, we'll get the first quest of the episode. Table Psychic Suppression. A 46-year-old captain nicknamed Table. Table? That's a horrendous nickname. Right up there with paper and light bulb. He wants to join us, but he's angered an AI of some sort, so we'll get hit with psychic suppression for 4.7 days if we accept. Getting female psychic suppression is a bit of a pain, reducing the consciousness of women anywhere from 20 to 50%, from what I've seen anyway, which will have a considerable effect on Kay's ability to function. Hopefully, since it's still the early game, Randy will go soft on Kay. But putting our faith in that is like handing a pyromaniac a lighter and telling them not to play with it. However, because Table is male, he'll be fine. If he had been female, we would probably have discarded the quest because he would almost certainly have been unable to make it to our base. Because while consciousness doesn't affect a pawn's skills directly, it severely affects their ability to talk, eat, manipulate and move. And there's no telling what kind of clothes he'll be wearing, not to mention that it's currently 124 degrees below zero. But Kay's doing fine, she's obviously in the relative safety of our base, and we have plenty of food at the moment, so we will accept this quest while she's sleeping so the suppression timer can start ticking down now. So let's see, I had assumed the message would tell us how bad the suppression would be. Actually, let's just jump to Table, I'm pretty curious about him. Table the janitor. Didn't it say captain before? That seems like misleading advertisement. Table might be a dishonest fellow. What kind of gear is he working with? Wolf skin at 93%. That's much better than we have now. Yeah, 48 degrees, that's 12 degrees more than our best parka, and it's in better condition. That elephant leather though, not good for the biome and not in great condition, but it's still 90 silver. Chinchilla fur pants, in perfect condition no less. Cha-ching! 6 degrees, I think that's about 1.6 more than Synthread, but more importantly, 266 silver. If Table makes it to us, he's going to have to drop trout to preserve them, I think. I believe we have some ratty blue fur pants he can use, but we'll get to that, hopefully. Unfortunately, he is unarmed, so if he survives, one of our pawns won't be much use before we get another raid. So let's have a look at his chances. Well, that's unfortunate. He would have a difficult time being further away, but it is only a one-way trip. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. We won't check his stats yet, because he probably won't make it, since it's minus 123 degrees outside. So I'm going to maintain the suspense till we figure out whether or not he's going to survive. However, it seems unlikely to me at the moment, so we're going to have him strip and haul Isidoros. So it's time to caravan. Oh yeah, we need a name. That's poor planning on my part. I should really have come up with something fantastically clever for that, assuming I'll be able to, of course. And that's asking a lot. Okay, let's go with the Supreme Autocracy. Because Kay might be a teenage girl, but she will rule the lifeless lands within her borderless domain with a steely fist of fierce, unyielding determination. And she isn't about to share that power with anybody. Got a bit intense there. Let's go with Of the North. I know, it's not the best, but there isn't exactly anything around to name our faction after. We could go with something like the Deadlands. A slightly more mythical sound, but doesn't go well with Autocracy, so I'll make an executive decision on this and keep it as is. Settlement name. Normally I would go with something that's either inspired by the playthrough or the surroundings, but the Coma Charles Survivalist Camp doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, so we'll go with her aspirations. Let's say the Red Fields Compound. Simply because she expects this to be the first of many compounds in her domain, and Red Fields just reflects her confidence in how the blood of raiders will cover the snowy hill that is her home. Anyway, Table's going to strip him, and we can take a look at his health. Well, the scar isn't good. That's what, 18% loss in manipulation? So that's a bad one, but we'll worry about that later. So it's time to see how far Table gets. Don't want Kay running out to collect Isadora's clothes. That's Sinfred Parker though. So expensive. Well, Table gets serious hypothermia just as one of our snaps expires. Would you look at that, he is going to make it. Well, maybe I was too bleak before. Randy has decided to throw another quest our way, but I want to see what kind of skills he has first. Had a Sea Ice playthrough end like this the other day. My pawn was down by hypothermia at her own doorstep. That's a feel bad moment if I ever saw one. Fortunately, that's not the case today. And Kay has almost gotten her beauty sleep, so let's check back on Table. 64%, that's fine. And now for the big reveal. Wow, another fast learner. Night Owl is mediocre, but with Fast Learner, we will really speed up our research. Major passions in shooting and mining? Table, you beautiful B-star. Minus in construction, crafting and artistic? He won't do planned work, but we have K for that. 9 points in shooting, 8 in construction, 5 in mining and crafting. That's just awesome. Shooting is obviously great. Construction is going to be helpful with quality. Obviously 5 in mining gets us above the 4-point mark, and with Fast Learner and a major passion, he's going to max that out in no time. If we can just get enough things for him to mine, of course. Finally, his crafting makes it worth thinking about getting a tailor bench and using that heavy fur now. However, Table's clearly one of those people, you know, who says I technically didn't lie, cause he's a sanitation captain, which explains the whole janitor captain thing. But with his combat skills, he probably could have been a proper captain, so it's all good. But let's take a look at the quest. Ship to the Stars. If you've played RimWorld before, you'll be familiar with this quest. An AI called Charlon Whitestone has sent us coordinates to a ship. Let's check that out. That's not that far away. In my experience, it tends to be on the opposite side of the planet. But anyway, the point is that you caravan there, the ship will already be built, so you just start up the engine and hopefully survive the onslaught. However, that won't be relevant for us, because if we wanted a more hospitable climate, we wouldn't have stayed here for this long in the first place. Alright, let's get Table inside. We will have to draft Kay and make her bed into a medical one for now. Then let's get that slag out of here. It's a little impractical to have in front of the door. And haul that corpse to Kay. How's Table looking? No frostbites. That's impressive. Now we need to move some stuff around because we need room for his bed. And once his hypothermia is gone, getting the steel for his bed is going to be Table's first task. So let's uninstall the stove. No, T, you stay there. But he is already at 25, so he'll be ready to work in a minute. Now hold that out of here, Kay. We'll let Kay research for a bit while I figure out how we're going to go about this. Let's just fill that zone out. Alright, Table's hypothermia is gone, but as you may have noticed, he has some serious pain. That will be from his scar. A constant -10 debuff. That is so going to be a problem. But there isn't anything we can do about it. If he can't handle it, we'll have to keep him indoors. Before he goes out though, he can uninstall that so Kay can move the research bench. Actually, let's send table back here so Kay can move the table and keep researching. We will forbid the Parker too because Kay is going to stay inside for the most part for the foreseeable future, so she doesn't need it. We will need to move one of those heaters around though. So undraft him again. There we are. Reconnect that. Well, it's a bit too cold in our freezer. The bedroom is fine though. So let's add a heater here. And a bed here. Alright then, table. It's time to get to work. And you're going for the right one, perfect. Of course we're missing one steel for the bed. Randy loves doing that to us. But let's have Kay take care of that slack now that we're at it and put that stool up as well. I am a bit worried about table though. It's far off and we're below minus 120 degrees, so we'll have to be careful. And each tile is probably going to take at least 4 trips, and he's not going to like that. Obviously it's still better than nothing and we don't have anything else for him to do, but it is going to take a lot of micromanagement. That doesn't bode well. He broke before he even had miner. Now a food binge isn't bad as breaks go, but did he even reach the steel? Well, not much we can do about that now. We'll have to deal with it when he comes back. Ah, crap, I don't know where my head is at. What the hell am I doing? Wow, this just turned into a masterclass of what not to do. Sorry, I have ADD, so I'm easily distracted and a bit forgetful, but usually not when I'm gaming. At least not that I've noticed anyway, but that's a whole other rabbit hole. This, well, basically every decision since Table joined us has been ridiculously loose on my part. Wow. Well, I'm not one to pretend that I'm perfect, so I'm just going to have to pause the recording here so I can go put my head through a wall, and then we'll break down what went wrong here, because it is quite the mess I've made of this, and we'll talk about why in a second. Alright, the blood has stopped gushing from my head, and for next time I've made a mental note to use dry instead of brick wall. I'm going to put a timestamp in the description for those of you who feel like this isn't something you can learn from. But now we're just gonna use a couple of minutes to talk about what just happened, because some of you might find some or all of the mistakes obvious, but others won't. So let's start with Kay. Firstly, Kay suppressed, which is why she dropped her rifle. Her manipulation has tanked completely with the hypothermia, all the way down to 0, which means that she can't help us with Table's mental break before she's gotten warmed up. Secondly, as you can see, Kay's malnourished. I got way too excited by the opportunities Table presented to us, so I ended up not paying attention to Kay and therefore neglecting her health, which incidentally comes with a debuff of at least 20. And then I decided to send her to work outside, which comes with another debuff of course. You can also see that she's only gotten halfway through the slag because of the suppression. Adding serious hypothermia to that isn't exactly helpful. Remember that she normally only hits minor to smelt a single piece of slag. I've already talked a little bit about my worries in regards to Table. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned that we weren't going to put on case of a Parker because she would be staying indoors. We also knew that she was suppressed, so why did I send her outside? Obviously I did it to smelt the slag, so we could get another heater up as quickly as possible, but doing that disregarded every influential factor of the game that we knew about. I seem to remember that they could still haul, but it's been way too long since something like this has happened to me, so I can't say that with any certainty. Look at that, her mood is tanking completely. Frankly, if Kay had been unarmed, this could have gone as bad as a wipe, because I was in a completely other place, can't remember where anymore, but Anna Kendrick was almost certainly there, because she's cute AF. But the point is, as a rule of thumb, whether you have 2 or you have 10 pawns, unless you have an immediate threat to your colony's survival, you should always keep at least 1 pawn indoors, hypothermia free, as a safety net. Things might take a couple of hours extra to get done, but that is a minuscule price to pay to ensure the continued survival of your colonists. Additionally, while Table wasn't tired yet, remember, he's a night owl. He got his mental break at noon, 1 hour after he got his -10 night owl in daytime debuff. But I completely forgot about it, so he ended up with a prescribed -36 in debuffs just from going outside mining, and that's a good way to induce a break. Sure, it's kind of one mistake that sort of cascades into 1,000, but had he become a sad wanderer, dazed, gone berserk or catatonic or something, this would have become much worse. So we are quite lucky that we only got a minor mental break here. But done is done. Feel free to chastise me. I do believe after this I'll have to add a Celeste to my wardrobe, but for now it's all about damage control. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to feed K. The next issue will then be that food binging pawns can eat a crazy amount. 7-18 meals on a binge, no problem. And we can't afford that. But at the same time, K is suppressed and Table is a better melee fighter. So we need to get her hypothermia down so she can pick up the rifle. And we can only hope that he won't lose any limbs, although that isn't a common occurrence. Forbid that door now. She's already well enough to pick it up, that's a good sign. Need to turn that off, of course. Alright, unforbid. So it's time to put a hurt on him. Actually, we need to order her inside first, because otherwise she might start beating on him in the doorway. Why did I do that? Take him down, Kay. Finally, took you long enough, but at least it only cost us 2 meals more than he needed to eat today. So given how badly this could have gone, I'm quite happy with that result. So let's get him to bed. We are actually just going to queue tending to him, because he isn't going anywhere soon, and we don't want her to break right now. Time to get her inside again, cause she ain't happy. Now we'll let Kay tend to Table in peace and come back to them in a bit. Let's put a spot down for Table here next to Kay, cause he isn't going to get a bed for a while now. We're certainly not sending him anywhere in that state. Kay is working so slowly, so we're going to move him to a spot once he's done with this bruise. And he's gonna take over soon. Meanwhile, we should probably check on Kay's mood. Minor risks, that's fine. There we are. Kay's going to want to go to bed soon, and Table is capable of walking, so we're going to let him patch himself up, because it will also be much quicker. I believe he has 2 in medical. However, we'll need to assign him and all that, so I'll just get that done and we'll join them again once he's finished fixing himself up. It's 3 AM and Table has finally finished tending to himself, and he wants to celebrate that with some recreation. And you know what? We're just going to let him either finish playing or down himself here. Either way, we'll get Kay out of bed, because we don't want him running around right now. And we don't want her to start starving again. And down he goes. That's fine. Let's get him back inside and give Kay something to eat. I think it's time to end today's episode. It has been an eventful one, admittedly mostly due to myself, although personally I must conclude that it's only reasonable to blame Anna Kendrick, so her publicist can expect a sharply worded email in the immediate future. If you want to find out what happens next, click the subscribe button. As always, if you have any comments, questions or requests, write them in the comment section and I'll be sure to get back to you. Lastly, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, it'll be much appreciated. Thanks for joining us.